the resistance I felt towards making this video was strong because I feel like my words aren't gonna flow properly or something, but let's just get right to it. I was wanting to talk about my practice and how it helps me. The resistance part of me is like, how is this gonna be useful? But I don't know, I just feel like talking about it. I think my fear of talking about it is I don't want it to come across as like, wow, this freaking lighting. I don't want it to come across as me just showing off how great my practice is, because like I kind of just want to talk about how it helps me, and ultimately how life in itself is a practice. So this is sort of a day in my life. I wake up, I have a cold shower, and then I'll fold up my bed that is on the floor, because I sleep on the floor. So I fold up my floor bed, and then I get ready for my yoga practice. So I sit down and I read a page of some sort of spiritual book of some sort. So right now I'm reading, very, very slowly reading the Tibetan Book of the Living and Dying. So I'll just read like a page or two of that, and then I do my little yoga practice. It's usually 30 minutes to an hour of vinyasa, depending on how much time I have. And then so I have my shavasana, my like laying down for a little bit. It's usually 5 to 10 minutes, and then I'll do about 15 minutes of breathing exercises, so pranayama. So I'll do like breath of fire, skull shining breath, do alternate nostril breathing, nadi shodhana, and some humming to open up the throat chakra, and then I'll finish off with a lot of gratitude. I always thank my practice, and I always try to send some love to the world. And then I have my big glass of water after that, and I go on with my day. And then usually in the afternoon, later on, I will have a 30-minute meditation. And before I go to bed, I like to light a candle, light some sage. I do some writing just to clear my mind. And yeah, then I go to sleep. So it's probably a total of like 2 hours that I dedicate to mindfulness a day. It might seem like a lot for some people, and to some people it might seem like not a lot. The point is, what my practice is doesn't mean that you need to do what I do. This is just what works for me. I think the point of a practice is to find something that works for us. And that might be trying out something that someone else has done, or that someone else is doing, or like a spiritual teacher. If a spiritual teacher has a specific practice that works for you, go ahead. But I came to this with a lot of trial and error, and it does shift and change. And some days I might not get time to do a meditation. And when that happens, I just kind of have to sit with the feeling of not having done my meditation. And I know that the next day I can always start again. And if we're starting out with a practice, it's always better to start with realistic goals, something really small, like maybe it could just be waking up and turning on some music and dancing for 5 minutes, or you can just sit for 5 minutes with your eyes closed, or just take 1 minute to think about what you're grateful for. And I think the best way to start getting used to doing a practice every day is to pick that one thing and do it, like set yourself a goal of doing it for 30 days, at least 21 days. And once you're used to doing that one thing every day, then you can slowly maybe add something to it. And I think the hardest part of a practice in general is actually showing up to do the thing. And yes, a lot of mornings I wake up and I'm like, maybe not today, but then I hear the voice, I'm like, okay, thanks, and then I just do it anyways. Yeah, I had that voice this morning, and I was like, ooh, maybe today will be a day where I notice what it's like to not practice. And then I'm like, well, I'm gonna practice anyways because I'm just so used to it. I've had this regular practice for like a year and a half now where I just do it every day. Yeah. And what got me started into a practice, it was following a 30-day yoga challenge online. Yoga with Adriene was what got me started. I have a whole story of like how I got into yoga, I believe. So yeah, I think the message here today is how can you incorporate a practice into your life? Oh yeah, and why does it make me feel good to practice? Well, it's because by practicing, I feel like I'm dedicating time to myself and I show up for myself. So it helps in a sense that I don't know why it's so hard for me to talk about this. It gives me a sense of self-love, of honoring who I am, and it makes me feel like I am valuing my own existence. And also it keeps me more in tune with what is authentic to me. And I am boggled at how difficult it is for me to answer the question of like, why do I practice? Why do I practice? I practice because this is whack. Why do people practice yoga? Why do I practice yoga? Yeah, it makes me feel more authentic. It makes me feel good. It makes me feel grounded. Like when my mind is going all over the place, I can sort of come back to the present moment and find some stillness in my life. And yeah, I could just realize how far into these loops that I can get into. It takes the pressure off. It takes the pressure off of my life and what I'm obligating myself to do. It just takes that pressure off. It makes me so grateful for the body that I have and being able to move it. It keeps me in shape. Keeps my body in shape, keeps my mind in shape. Yeah, it really gives me a sense of clarity and focus. Like with this yoga practice and just the practice in general, I feel like my experience in university this time around is like so different. Like I can focus on school. I feel like ideas and thoughts come to me much easier. Like I'm way more in tune with my creativity, and creativity puts me in that state of flow. So it's easier for me to just express what's on my mind and to understand what's going on in my prof's mind. Like, what does my prof want and how can I incorporate some of me in there so that we can sort of meet in the middle. And it's been helping my grades. It's been helping my grades a lot. Yeah, that's I'm just gonna stop there. Yeah, it's really interesting how I had a hard time answering that question. But yeah, I'm trying to make a video once a week. So this is also one of my practices, is doing this once a week. Have a beautiful week. Thank you for watching this video. Thank you for your time. If you want to subscribe or like the video and all that fun stuff, as I'm ashamed of asking for your praise and attention, but I'm putting it out there anyways because I'm working on accepting these parts of myself. All right, thank you. Peace.